Hi everyone, and welcome to Timing Trades. In this video I'm going to basically work out the examples that Sepharial gave in the Arcana or stock and share key, and by the end of the video you should be able to see that the rules that have been given or that were given in the foundation videos basically as a result of studying this very piece by Sepharial, right? So the first example he gave is given right here, but let me go first to okay. So he says the New York chart is set for noon on 17th of May 1792 as shown in the map herewith. So basically the map was given at the far end, so this is the New York chart that he gave, but of course there's no chart here. So what I'll do is I'll just basically draw the chart. So I've got my astrology here, so I'll go to settings and it's set for May 17th 1792 and 1792 years. We're talking about noon, which is 12, right? We're looking for New York City, right? We apply, then we say okay. So this is basically the chart of the time that the New York Stock Exchange was actually opened, right? So we are told the New York chart is set for noon on the 7th of May 1792 as shown in the map here so the map I've basically drawn again, which is here. So it's May 17th 1792 at noon, New York City, right? So that's the chart that he gave. So he says now he gives an example of a certain event, and what we're simply going to do is just work out why the event happened the way it happened, basically by following exactly what he was talking about. So he says now at the tragic assassination of President Lincoln, right, we find the years from the above date of finding to the date of that event, right? So the date of the assassination was in April 14. It was on April 14th April 14th 1865, a period of 73 years and 1 month. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to note the year, which is 18. Okay, so let me get my book here. So let me say we're talking about May, right? 1792 noon, New York City. Yeah, so this is the radix. Yes, so I'll give the details of the ascendant or first ascendant, the MC or the midheaven or house 10. I've got the sun and the moon, right? So let me give the details for the radix. So we have first house was in Virgo 310. So I'll say 3 Virgo, and then I'll say 10. Okay. So let me just put these at so let me put them at okay, so Virgo 3, so the first house, which is ascendant, is Virgo 310. Yes, so the 10th house, which is MC, is 28 Taurus 19. So 28 Taurus 19. So for the sun, 27 22. So we've got 27 Taurus 22, right? That's the sun. The moon is at 20 Aries. So we'll say 20 Aries, what's the minute is 49 minutes, right? So this is going to be our reference point. So let me just put this with background of, let's say, yeah, let me make them a bit more faint. So color, make them a bit more gray. Okay, whatever the case, let me just leave them like that. So so this I'll highlight as the most important, and these details here. So those are the radix details for the New York stock. So I will say this is New York Stock Exchange. So that's basically the New York Stock Exchange radix. And okay, so apart from that, so I'm going to consider now the other year. The year that I'm looking at basically is the year of assassination, which is 28th 20. Okay, it's 1865. So I'll say, so here I'll say progressed. Yeah, progressed. So let me just say progressed. We're talking about May 17. The year is 1865. I'm sure. So it's 1865. Basically, again, we're looking at known New York City, right? So just probably just push it a bit further there, and then I'm going to be looking at ascendant, MC, the sun, and the moon. So there we have it. Let me use that. So there we have it. There we go. So again, remember what I said? What I said is that you don't progress to the actual time of the event. What you progress is that it must be a full year. So it must be full years. So from would have said from this year to the time of the radix, we have got 73 years. So you make sure that you progress to the actual full years, which is 73, not 73 and some days, or 73 and some weeks, or 73 and some days. No, it's from the full year to full year. So full year to full year. So it's from May 17th to the other time, which is May 17th, but to the year that you are progressing it. So this is one example, and mark the word progressed, right? So let me give it another color so that we should be looking at the ones that are in contrast. So let me use, okay, let me use slightly, okay, let me use this. So whenever I'm going to have a slight blue, just know that I'm progressing, right? So let me get the progressed details. So let me go to charts, right? And then progressions. So it's solar arc. Solar arc is the one that uses that Sepharial was using that. So I'm progressing to the exact month, which is May, the day 17th, but the year I'm interested in is 1865. The time is noon. Of course, that the location will be automatic. So do progression. Once I do progression there, press enter. That's the progressed details. So I'll get for the first house, which is 16 Scorpio. So 16 Scorpio, what is the 10, right? 16 Scorpio 10. So 10th house is 11. Is that Leo? Leo 17 or 19 rather. Leo 19. 10 Leo 22. So the moon is at 3. Cancer 49 minutes. 49 minutes. Okay, so that's basically our progression, right? So I've progressed this chart from the time New York Stock Exchange was introduced to the year to 73 years exactly to when we were interested in, right, which is in the year 1865. So let me go back to the book. So it says the event happened in this year, right, of 1865. So to be a period of course he went ahead. The event happened just a month after the anniversary date of May 17th, right? So this at the rate of 58 59 rather minutes per day, and it equates to about 72 degrees, right? If added to the radix midheaven of Taurus 28, so Taurus, right, midheaven was in Taurus 28, as you can see, Taurus 28 here degrees. If you add the 72 degrees, it gives you, it says, the 11th degree of Leo, right? So you'll notice that midheaven accordingly is 11 degree Leo, right? So basically we're correct. The ascendant, however, to this midheaven is in the 5th of Scorpio. So so it talks about 5th of Scorpio of the midheaven, right? But you will note that that was actually a mistake, because um, um, the reason for that is because the midheaven, or the ascendant, sorry, was in Virgo 3. So the time you add the amount that you add 72 degrees from that, it actually goes to the 16th degree of Scorpio, not 5 degrees Scorpio. No. So he might make those verses, but here's this is the actual way of doing things. So once you do that, you already know that. So we've already done basically all this part, right? Um, so this part has already been noted. So let me highlight it. Let me probably zoom in a bit and then scroll down. So basically we have done all the progressions and all that stuff, but why did the event happen that way? Why was he assassinated and all that stuff? So he talks that, yeah, in the next paragraph he explains why. So the ascendant was therefore in opposite to Venus radical. Of course we can refer to that, but here's the point. Referring to the ephemeris for 1865, we find that on that very day, Neptune, the author of plots and schemes, was in Aries 8, right, 40 minutes, and therefore exactly on the place of the moon radical. The moon radical is just basically the radix. So we'll find that the moon apparently was on the 20th degree of Aries and not the 8th, right? And not on the 8th. So he might really make those mistakes. But the point that people always have to assess is talking about a transit of Neptune on the radix place of the moon. So let me go ahead and show how that is happening. So let me go to chart, then progressions, then and click the do progression. Once I click that, it goes back to my Radex chart. So I'll go around the time he was okay, he was putting that somewhere around April, so I'm gonna go April 1st. The year is 1865. So I'll start with midnight, the same year. So I have that, but I'm going to be just checking where Neptune is. Neptune is at 8 Aries, right? So this is 840. So 8 degrees and 40. So the event was basically scheduled for 14th. So I can move it by days. Okay, so couple of hours. Okay, so if we go by exactly how the actual degree that he gave, Neptune, yes, quite alright, on the 14th of April 1865 was exactly on sitting on Aries 8 degree and 40 minutes exactly, right? And if we check the aspects for Neptune on that particular day, Neptune. Okay, so we have that. Neptune. Okay, we can ignore that one. Can ignore this one as well. Can ignore this one. So basically, the one that was in effect was Neptune's trine the moon, which was in Sagittarius at the time. So okay. So basically, that's how you do it. He might have put different degrees from that, but if I was to go with my actual degrees, which is 20th degree 48, it means that I'll need to still progress to move to move it further that year. Okay, let me move it by a month. Okay. Okay, by months we find that the time Neptune transits that exact point is May 28th, 1840. That's exactly when we see Neptune transiting that exact point, right? So, however the case, the point that people should be noting down is that you have a transit of a planet within the year that you're interested in the Radex, on a Radex point, right? So you have it there, and once you have it there, that's basically it. You should be able to tell what's going to happen within that particular day. So if I just let me look at the Neptune aspects. So we have the square with Uranus there, sextile to Mercury, both semi-square and sextile to okay, Pluto again here. The node still positive, still negative, sorry, still positive, yes, but it's square. So basically, I think the one that's the least of them all is basically the square to Uranus, right? So this is square to Uranus. That will be probably in effect on that particular day. So that's the first example worked out, right? So always note that the number one thing that people need to pay attention. Let me actually put it in red. So if I say -1, so okay, okay. So I'll put 1 here. The first point that we need to always take note of. Right. The first point is that when you're progressing, it's basically the month and the day are intact as in the radix chart. The year that you're considering is the one that is different, right? The time and the place is basically the same, right? From one year to another year, a day for a year, right? So it's basically progress to the exact year, to the exact years. So if it's 73 years, it must be 73 years from the date of the radix, not 73 with some minutes or some days or some months or some weeks. No, exactly 73 years. So in our case, we had exactly progression of the New York stock chart by 73 years. So whatever the case, so let's say if I'm considering to forecast the New York Stock Exchange for this current year, which is 2023, right? So I'll have 2023, but I'll progress to May 17, right? At noon, of course, New York City. That's basically it. That's basically it. So that's the first point I need to note. And then the next point was that we're now looking at, once you progress it like that correctly, what we did here is was a transit. Let me put transit. Transit. So the next point was a transit, right? So from progressing it correctly, the next point that you're trying to refer to is transiting. So there's a transit of Neptune on this exact point. Let me even put Neptune here. Neptune, right? So there's a transit of Neptune. First point, progress it correctly. The second point, you now look for transit in that particular year. So 2 was a transit of Neptune on the radix of position of the moon, which is 20th. According to him, his hypothetical example, which was 8 hours and 40 minutes. So that's the first example that we need to note. So the part that we have actually done this, we can just now start looking for that example. So axiom 1, a planet in transit over the radical places of the sun, the moon, the midheaven, and descendant. So basically, house 1, house 10, sun and moon. So whenever any planet transits that, they have influence on the course of events according to their nature, and so affect the value of securities. In November, right? Now, November 1857, there was a considerable financial panic of the exchange, right? So the years were exactly 65 years. Of course, he put some months again, but again, we're progressing to exactly 65 years, right? So the MC progressed to Leo 2, right? Ascendant in Libra. So we can progress this, right, to the year 1857. So okay, so I'll get this. I'll say copy. Let me paste here. So all source of formats for the source. So May, okay, so it says 18, is that 57? 57, yes, 1857. So I can remove that. Okay, so we can check again for that particular year. So the first important thing is that you have to go with the radix details again. 1792 at noon, look up New York chart, apply the information, and then of course that's our radix. So we'll go again to chart and we say progressions, solar arc. So do progressions. May this time around it's 1857. 1857. So the year 1857 is what we're considering. 1857. So the ascendant was 8, Scorpio 10, right? So 8, Scorpio 10, right? The 10th house was Leo 819 also. Not 819, but Leo 319. Leo 19. So basically 22 there, we've got 49. Yes, and so again, okay, it's 21 actually. So 2 Leo 21. Yeah. So the moon is at 49. Okay, 25 degrees of Gemini. 25 degrees of Gemini. 49. So basically that's that for the year that we've progressed it at. So now he talks about the MC progressing to Leo 2. Yes, so MC was basically at Leo 3 rather. Leo 2, Leo 3. Ascendant was Libra 27. Oh, okay, no. The ascendant is actually not on Scorpio. It's actually on Scorpio, not Libra, right? Scorpio, not Libra. So um, let's go ahead. So the ascendant, of course, there are errors like this, but please get the exact point that you're talking about. So the ascendant is opposed to Saturn and in conjunction with Neptune, right? Venus was then in the end of Libra, right? And Saturn was in Cancer and in square aspect to Venus, mid month or in November. Yes. So Uranus was in transit over MC radical. So the MC radical was what? Taurus 28 on that particular day in November. So let me draw up the chart. So what I'll do is that since it's already progressed here, as you can see, it's already in progressed. So I have to go to chart and then click do progressions. Then it goes back to the radix, and then from the radix there I can go to November 1857. So I'll start first November, the first day of November in the year 1857, right? So I'm looking at Uranus transit over the MC, right? Radical, so radix. So MC is 28, Taurus 19. Okay. So Uranus was at 27, but what we're looking at is 28, 19. Okay. So oh, okay. So it's in retrograde. So let me use this. Okay, so since it's in retrograde, so I have to go backwards actually to get to. Okay, So 2819, that's basically it. So it's actually in October 21st, 1857, when the actual Uranus transited the position of the house 10 or ascender, or the midheaven rather. And let's see. So Uranus was aspect of Uranus. Okay, so we have got Uranus sextile Saturn, Uranus, okay, trine Venus, Uranus, okay, Uranus. So basically we've got what will be in fact is Uranus sextile Saturn, right? In effect, yeah. So that's exactly what. So you also have Uranus here, semi-sextile Mercury. Yeah. So this is a stock exchange, so the rules might be different. However, the basic principle is that the transit again here we're looking at is 2 again. Oh, let me call it 3. Transit. So I'll put Uranus here. So basically all we're doing now after we do first year is that a transit over the radix which he gives, but of course you have already known how to do progressions the correct way. So axiom 2 is axiom 1 is also completely worked out. So directions of the generating factor progressed. The directions of the generating factor sun, moon, MC or house 10 and ascendant to afflicting aspects, square or opposite of malefic planets will cause great depression of securities. So he does this, but here is the point. He gives an example of exactly that. So in axiom 3, he says that as the ephemeris aspects, the prime sign factor will define the probable time for this depression. So the railway strike of the year 1890, right, when New York stock market had celebrated the 98th year of operation from the foundation of the chart, shows MC or shows the MC in Virgo 10. The Saturn was then in transit through that degree of the zodiac. Okay, so this is another transit. So we'll do the squares and so this axiom goes with axiom axiom 4. But let's work out axiom 3 since he talks about another transit. So Virgo 5, Virgo 5, Virgo 5. Okay, so let me copy and put 1 here. Okay, so what year is he talking about? 1890. So let me just highlight this. 1890. Okay, so 1890 so 1890. So we can progress it again. So what we'll do again on that, we'll take it to the radix, so which is May 17th, 1792. The time is noon. We're looking at New York City. Then we apply, and then once we have drawn the radix, we go to chart. We go to progressions, since we just want to see the progressions rather. So we said do progressions. So the year that we're looking at is what year is that? 1890. Yeah, 1890. Same month, same day and time. Okay, so now we can do progressions. So we find that the first house is in 10 is in the 11th degree. So 11th degree of Sagittarius, 10 minutes. The 10th house is Virgo 6, 60th degree of Virgo. So 60th degree of Virgo, 19, yeah, 19 minutes. The Sun, however, is in the 5th degree of Virgo, 21 minutes, and the Moon is in 28th Cancer. What's the minutes? 49 minutes. Okay, so this time around, I should stop saving. Okay, so this time around we're looking at a transit of so I'll say 4. So I'll say transit, and transit of what? Saturn. Okay, Saturn on the position. So transit of Saturn on the progressed position of MC, which is Virgo 8, or Virgo 6 rather, 19 minutes. So in the year 1890. So let me just now undo the progressions. So chart progressions, and click do progressions, and okay. Then you can now take the chart to the year 1890. If you want, you can just go to the first day of the year. So of course we can go to what he talked about. He said that around August. Okay, so I can take it to August, somewhere around August. Okay, let me start with July. So I'm starting with July. Then I'll start animating it by days. So Saturn currently is in Virgo's the first degree, should I say, just entered Virgo, and it's on the 19th minute of Virgo. Yeah, 0. So we're looking at Virgo 6. So that's August. Okay, so we're in August. What's the exact degree that we're looking at? Is Virgo 6 degree 19 minutes. So we have currently passed that. Okay, okay, yes. So on August the 22nd in the year 1890, right, it was on a Friday, around 21 hours, or 21 hours, or 10 a.m. Oh, 10 p.m. rather, 10 p.m. around 10 p.m. I think we should have seen Saturn transiting Virgo 60th degree of Virgo, 19 minutes, and the aspects that we're having apparently for Saturn. So we had a square with Neptune, we had square with Pluto, we had an in conjunction with Jupiter, which is 150 degree aspect. We had okay, so basically these are the 3 that were there, but of course the one that was in effect was the one with Neptune. So it was Saturn square Neptune, and that's the one that was going to be in effect in that particular on that particular day of the transit, right? And this is an example again of a transit of a planet on the progressed position of the general sign factors, which is basically first house, 10th house, Sun, and Moon. or as you would like to call them, ascendant, the midheaven, sun and the moon, right? So the first rule is how you progress. This is how you progress. The second rule is transits. So transits can basically happen in the radix positions of this house 1, house 10, sun and the moon, right? Or they can happen in the progressed chart. Yeah. So this is one example that it gives, right? So I've worked out this one, and there was depression. Probably the reason for a depression is because it was a transit of Saturn, right? And the aspect it had was a square, which is basically an aspect that causes depressions uh, in markets, right? So axiom 4. Let's see how many axioms are remaining with. We're remaining with. Of course, now here just talks about the natures of planets and all that stuff. Daily fluctuations. I don't think I'll look into that. Okay, so we can just work out this last example, and then I'll just give a general overview of these other rules that he gives, which I have already discussed in the foundation videos. So let me just look at axiom 4 example. So he says, which gives us again another example of how these things can be done. So he says Saturn in conjunction. Remember the axiom 2 where it says the directions, the generating factors. So directions, so the progressed positions of the sun, the moon, ascendant, or the midheaven and ascendant, to afflicting aspects or square and opposite of malefic planets. So malefic planets are two: Saturn is a malefic planet, and Mars is a malefic planet. So you just have to know that those two planets are malefic. So the progressed positions of the generating factors, which is sun, moon, ascendant, and midheaven, their aspect, their square positions or opposite positions of those positions basically do count. And when a planet, which is malefic, which is Mars or Saturn, goes on that position, there should be an effect in the market. So he gives an example of that in axiom 4, where he says Saturn in conjunction or square or opposite by transit to any of the radical places of the generating factors or to their progressed places will cause a series of depression. So again, here he says he adds another layer of complexity, right? Which is now he's now considering not only the progressed positions but also the radix positions of these places. So he gives an example. In August 1914, Saturn was in Gemini 28, right? With in square to Mars in Virgo 28. The MC of the chart had progressed to Virgo 28, right? Mars was therefore in transit over the MC progressed, and Saturn was in square to it. Mars in here the cause of excitement, and Saturn that of depression. So remember 1914. So let me progress it to 1914, and we should be able to see what happened. So let me see if I can just paste it here. Okay, so that's 1914 what we're considering. So so 1914. So I can go back again, draw the radix chart for the New York Stock Exchange, which is May 17th, May 17th, 1792, time being noon. And once we have that, I'll apply, and we have that. So I'll go to chart, and then we say progressions. I'll say do progressions. The year that we're looking at is 1914, right? the time, basically everything else remains constant. So we'll note actually that closer actually to the positions that he's talking about. So we'll say that 5 Capricorn 09, yes, (9° on 5° of Capricorn, right? That's for the first house. For the 10th house is 0 degrees. Libra at 18. The sun, however, was in 29th degree of Virgo, 21 minutes and 22 degree of Leo, and 48 minutes. That's the position of the moon in the progressed position of the year 1914. So he's talking about, not only was he talking about the transit in here, so the transit was happening. So Mars, in this case, transited, which of course is talking about the conjunction, right? So transit over the MC progressed, right? And Saturn was in square to it. So the MC progressed was Libra here, right? So square position to that, to Libra, is where's Libra? Let me give an example. So Libra is here, right? So if we're talking about a house that's square to it, the house square to Libra is Virgo, right? We also have Cancer here, so we skip 2 houses. The third house is one that's square. So square here, square to Aries here, and we go to Cancer and back to Libra. So the house that is square to Libra is both Cancer and Virgo. So in our example here, we're talking about we have Gemini, right? Gemini. What is Gemini? Oh, okay. Because he was talking about Virgo here, because of the Virgo part, it would be true to say that the planet square was in Virgo, so it's a square position, which, quite right, is okay. So for now, we'll use our details and just to verify this. So we're looking at a transit. Let me go for a transit of Mars on that particular MC degree, which is at Libra. So according to Libra, we're talking about Cancer. So square is Cancer. It's we'll just say 0 Cancer 18 minutes. That's the position that's square, right? To this position. So let me go to, okay, so this is progression. So let me go to chart and do progression. Now change the chart to the year 1914. Okay, I'll just go with the same exact May, and then we'll see where Mars is. So Mars currently was at Leo, right? So where is Leo? Where is Leo? Here. But it needs to go to the transit was Libra. It needs to go to Libra, so it still has to pass through Virgo to go to Libra. Okay, so we can just do animation. So Leo, it's about to leave Leo. It's moved to Virgo, so just about to go into Libra. Okay, so Libra. Okay, so our exact position is Libra 18, right? So Libra 18. So Libra 18, there we have it, transit. So Mars, Mars, quite right, as you can see here. Mars was in square to Saturn, which was in Gemini, right? So what I can do here to just make sure that we see what we're talking about, I'll restrict the other planets. I'll restrict everything except for the planets that we're considering. So the square is that this is in this house, right? So in our case, as you can see, is that Saturn was basically almost in Cancer, which is basically what we were talking about, right? It's Cancer 8, right? So you can actually note that there was so let me put transit, so 2. So this will be the 4th one, right? The 5th one rather, transit of Saturn. So the other rule that he talked about again is the transit of a planet to a position that is square, opposite, or in conjunction to either the positions of the progressed generation factors, so ascendant, midheaven, sun, moon, or their radix positions. But for radix positions, apparently gave us a transit. So I'll put 6. So 6, I'll say Mars here, benefic planet, and we're talking about transit as well. So going over the rules again. The first one is how you're supposed to know how to progress the charts properly. The second thing, you have to be able to tell transits whether happening in the radix positions or the progress positions. And then the third is transits of malefic planets, which is Saturn or Mars, either in conjunction on those progressed or radix positions, or opposite or squares to those positions, which was the 5th and the 6th rule in our case. Once you know those things, basically this part is done. So effects of planets: Neptune is bad aspect causes in bad aspects. Remember, it's all about aspect. So if the aspect is bad, basically we have to see cells. If it's good, again we have to see bias. So talks about the effects of basically planets, right? So the conclusion that I'll give again on planets is that every planet can cause good and bad, right? How bad things move is also much doesn't just depend on the aspect. So when it comes to markets, specifically markets, right? Bullish moves and bearish moves as a result of aspects. So if the bullish moves are caused by good aspects, the bearish moves are caused by bad aspects, right? The intensity of those of that effect, or of the bad or the good, is dependent on the planet as well. So Saturn is considered as the most evil planet, right? That is if it is in a good aspect. So it's the one that causes the biggest depressions, right? Same with Mars. However, Jupiter is considered as one of the good planets. However, when it's in good aspect, it causes good bearish moves, right? As does Venus and other planets. So whatever the case, consider aspects. So if the aspect is bad, the market will push down. If the aspect is good, the market will push up. That's basically the gist of all that. The decanates again, rule has to do with daily fluctuation. No, not daily fluctuations, rather. This can help out in transit in case a transit happens and there's the transiting planet doesn't have an aspect. You can consider the the planet in whose house the same transiting planet is in, the ruler, and then you can consider the aspects of that planet. Then there's this issue of daily fluctuations. Um, daily fluctuations. So daily fluctuations, please just remember, go to the final video that I gave on daily fluctuations in the foundation videos. So the last video I gave is one that was on daily aspects. The aspects again that we need to consider, again, I'll just go back to my settings here, are basically 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So we've got 0 aspect, 180, 90, 120, 60, 150, 30, 45, 135. So they have got their names quite alright, but let me list them. So bad, okay, let me just say bearish, bullish. So the aspects, if I was to list them, we've got 0, we've got 30, we've got 45, we have got 90, we have got 135, we have got 150, okay, so 120, 135, we've got 180, and we have got 150, and then 180, right? So basically, which one have I forgotten? Which one have I forgotten? 60, yeah? I've forgotten a 60. So we're supposed to have a 60, 90, 120, 135, 150, and 180. So 9 of them. So the ones that are bad are basically zeros. 45, we've got the 90, 135, 150 sometimes, 180. So the ones that are good, conjunctions as well are good sometimes. 30, 60, 120, 150 sometimes, and those are the ones that you have. So bearish, we talk about that, and bullish, we talk about green. So that's that, and those are the aspects. So that is basically nature of aspects. All planets in good aspects act to enhance values. So this is the final conclusion to all issues or manners of aspects and natures of planets. So all planets, whether it be Saturn or Jupiter or whichever, whenever there's a good aspect, it causes bullish moves. And the same thing or the opposite is true as well. All planets in bad aspects will cause depressions or cause bearish moves, right? But of course, if we look, we have a good aspect and we've got Jupiter in effect in transit. It's the greatest expander, of course, and of course they say Saturn is the greatest depressor of markets, right? So yeah, so a planet is just by its own nature and the aspect by its own nature. again here, this here is has to do again with the last video, again the final video of the foundation video. So just have to look at that, and this last part gives how you can find the exact hour in that particular day when you are supposed to probably look for a buy or a sell on that particular day. But I won't go into that. Again, it's in the foundation videos. So okay, so that's basically it. We've got rulership of the houses. In the Radex, if you noticed, the Radex details, the sun was in Taurus, right? Was in Taurus. So it simply tells us that because Taurus is ruled by Venus, the prime sin factor is Venus, according to the Radex details. So the last progressed details that we have found is the one for 1914. So the sun happens to be in Virgo. So Virgo is ruled by Mercury. So I'll find that the prime sin factor for that year 1914 was Mercury. In the year 1792, Venus was in effect. So when the sun was in Leo, right? Was in Leo, we find that, of course, here Leo, okay, again Leo is ruled by the sun. So since the sun in the year the progressed chart for New York Stock Exchange progressed to 1857 was in Leo. So we find that the same way in 1865 when progressed is in Leo. So in both cases, in both years, we find that the planet that was going to be the prime sin factor in these particular 2 years was going to be the sun, because it's a king and ruler of this of the house Leo. So okay, so it talks about houses as well here, much of mundane details, basic details that we're supposed to know. And he gives, I think, the last example of eclipses. So eclipses, again, just go to the video in the foundation video. It's called eclipses, and you should be able to I did work out this example. So having said all this, that's the end of the book. Having said all this, please remember that the rules are basically very simple, and these are the ones that we have considered today, right? Apart from daily fluctuations, and yeah, so apart from that, these what he never talked about was moon transits. Right? So moon transits are the ones that I gave again in the foundation video. So I had to find other influences apart from the ones that he mentioned. So the ones that he mentioned apparently are about 6, right? Or less than 6, because transits are basically one and the same thing, right? So apart from what we have discussed, the moon transits, eclipses, seasonal changes, what else? Daily fluctuations, please go to the foundation videos and you should be able to see those. So otherwise, I've done my part, which is basically working out the examples in Sepharial's Arcana, stock and share key, and these are the rules that we have reviewed. So look forward to new video series that I'll just be looking at. Probably I'll be categorizing them based on the instrument I'll be reviewing. I'll just review how we analyze or go through analysis for that particular instrument, right? create a video series around it. Once it's analyzed and the video series has gone around it, I'll do the same for other markets. So I currently don't have for gold, silver, platinum. So there are about 5 categories. So there are metals. So for metals, I'm thinking I'm just going to look at probably gold and silver or platinum, but I'll just pick probably one, which is gold. And then for commodities, I think crude oil is what I'm going to look at. So let me just highlight that. So look at gold, crude oil. So S&P 500, Dow Jones, Nasdaq stock. So I'll probably just pick any of these 3 because these are very fundamental stocks, indexes. So I'll pick any of them when time comes, perhaps Dow Jones or S&P, whether it's 500 or 100 or whichever, or 50. Then for the stocks, so there is Netflix, Amazon, Tesla, Facebook, Google, right? I'll pick any of them, and then I'll introduce step index, which is offered by the Reef broker, right? So I'll make a video series for each of these markets, at least one instrument in each, doing analysis perhaps for this year or the coming year, but perhaps we're just going to focus for now for this year. And then once I go through each instrument video series and analyze how it's done this year, I hope that by then the rules then will become solidified. The same way I have basically gone through these examples by Sepharial. I hope seeing them in practice will help solidify the rules. And once that is done, I hope that people will be able to actually see that these things work, and that they don't just there for decor, right? So you should be able to see those video series coming up in later on later days, right? So having reviewed Sepharial and given a glimpse into the next video series that will be coming up, from me it's thank you for watching, and please like, subscribe and share. Till next time, bye.